Hello and welcome back to another Duel Links episode. Today we are going to be reviewing the vampires. Vampires are very popular in the top meta, so I wanted to do my own version of this. It's a fun deck to play. Let's just jump right into it. The core here that you're going to be going for is Vampire Retainer and Vampire Familiar. These two cards allow you to basically summon from the graveyard in these. Gozuki, which is not required in this deck because I know it's UR and it's out of a different box. So by all means, don't feel like you have to try and get this card. It does help immensely, especially in your win rate category, but it is not required. Samurai Skull, I do believe, is more required than Gozuki, just on the simple fact that it gives you the same effect as Gozuki, but it's only a rare, and it's out of a pretty good box to be opening packs on anyways. Bacon Saver just allows you to save one of your monsters, which is good to have. I have Scarlet Scourge in here on the simple fact that I like to have the 2200 attack, because when partnered with the Vampire Kingdom, it allows you to be at 2700, which allows you to swing over a lot of different things. And so that I prefer having that one in here. Vampire Grace is another essential card for this deck on the simple fact that when you have Vampire Kingdom, you can just use Vampire Grace and you can start sending their resources from their deck into their graveyard. Once you do that, you're able to target pretty much one card on your opponent's side of the field and destroy it. Whether it's monster, spell, trap, whatever, you get to destroy it. So that's where that synergy goes over very, very well. I'm running Enemy Controller just on the simple fact that Enemy Controller is a great card to have, especially in this type of deck. You want to be using the second effect, the tribute one monster, then target one face-up monster your opponent controls, because you can pretty much wipe their board and take their powerhouses and bring them over to your side, and then you can wreak some havoc. I have Vampire Desire in here. It's broken at times with the second effect with the target one vampire in your graveyard, and it doesn't want to summon for me. It could be just me, but I still run it just on the simple fact that it is powerful and it is a good card to be able to get one of your resources like your Scarlet Scourge or your Vampire Grace from your graveyard and throw it on your side of the field. I also have Vampire's Domain in here just on the simple fact that this card, it allows you to regain life points. And it allows you to basically make 2 summons in 1 turn. So that is a very, very helpful card. I also have Vampire Takeover just because it allows you to use a resource from your graveyard, throw it onto your side of the field, and special summon the field spell card to your field spell zone. I'm running 2 of the field spell just in case if they try and destroy it, because it is a core card for this. So let's jump into some replays that I got saved up for you guys. This is a mirror match here, which actually turns out to be a pretty exciting duel. I enjoy playing this one. Okay, so you can see how he's summoning, playing his cards. He's bringing Vampire Takeover because he has no field spell. So one of these cards is going to be the Vampire Takeover, which, as you can see, I also have. And I'm pretty much well starting this exactly the same way he is. So I'm setting those 2 cards. My thought behind it, though, is I wanted to take out his resources. So that's why I'm swinging into his monsters. Because when you leave resources on the field, then that gives them the ability to use their plays. As you can see, he's doing a lot of special summoning from his graveyard, trying to find Vampire's Grace, because it is a core card in this deck. And as you can see, I have not actually used it yet, because now he actually targets my Vampire Takeover with the monster effect to try and destroy it. So this is where I come in, but right there, if you didn't realize what actually happened, since I had Vampire Grace as well, when he threw a monster card into his graveyard, my effect activated to where I could destroy one of his cards. So in him trying to destroy my cards, I actually turned it on him to destroy his monsters as well. So it's a fun little trick to be able to pull in the mirror match. So he uses Canadia, and I just pass on that turn. Going into the next one, as you can see, there's a lot of resources going into the graveyard, but you're primarily using the grave. I can special summon using Gozuki's effect. So it's not required, but it definitely helps the win rate a lot. As you can see, I use Vampire right there. The Vampire Desire, it did not activate because I targeted my monster right there, and I was supposed to special summon it. Did he special summon? No. But luckily I didn't need to because I can use his effect, pay 1,000 life points, summon it to the graveyard or to the field, destroy his field spell. I'm able to swing over him. I was not able to attack with Grace because of the ability here allows me to special summon, but I am unable to attack this battle phase. His effect also allows me to, when I destroy a monster, which just so happens to also be another zombie monster, so it just helps out playing the mirror match, and this gets to a point where he no longer has... He had one card and I had more resources on the field, so this is one reason why I also like having storage in this deck as opposed to something else. But as you can see in the mirror match, you can win. You just got to be able to have the right resources and play it correctly. This one I will be showing you, I actually utilize the enemy controller, so this is a good one to be watching as well because this actually has a Yubel in it. And Duel is actually becoming more and more popular, especially with the boombox of the Nepthos. Starting hand, summon, I throw. You'll want to primarily throw these into the graveyard just on the simple fact that then you can special summon. Once you special summon, you pay 500 life points to get a spell or trap card, vampire spell or trap card from your deck. Which, as you can see, that was all in turn one, so I was using several resources, but I threw Scourge into the graveyard because Scourge with Vampire Takeover allows me to special summon him. Now he's doing his thing with pulling the Fire King, Sacred Nepthos, all that good stuff, trying to get something going on his part. Use enemy controller. I sent a card to the grave. Oh, this is the one that I didn't actually end up using. Okay, so this is the final duel in my vampire deck review. Sorry about the cutscene and everything. Something happened with my recording. That, and I'm also recording this after the limited list has been updated with having Samurai Skull, so this deck will probably not be viable anymore, having only limited to 2 Samurai Skulls. But this deck can still have a lot of fun with it. I'll show you a little bit with having Samurai Skull. As you can see, yes, he's going after the Gravekeepers. Yes, he did use a Floodgate on me, but as you can see, I can sacrifice and summon my Scourge. Scourge is a great card to have in this deck. As you can see, it gives you 2700, and you can see he had no response to my sacrificing. So, this deck is a lot of fun to play. Just to give you a heads up on what the limited list will do to this deck. Oh, that's my auto duel deck. Hang on. My vampire deck here. It is limiting the Samurai Skull to 2. So what that's going to do is it's going to basically mean enemy controller is going to have to come out of this deck, and Gozuki is going to be a required card now. So it's kind of a shame on Konami because they could have easily made Vampire Grace be the limited to 2 to eliminate the enemy controller, because using enemy controller in this deck allows you to, you can basically say, hey, I'm going to special summon one of these cards from my graveyard, use enemy controller, sacrifice my own monster, take your monster, and then tribute it through one of these two cards. So you can see where enemy controller in this deck can be a little too overpowered, and that's why my personal opinion that Konami has limited Samurai Skull. So yes, Samurai Skull will be now limited to 2. Do I think they should have limited Grace instead? Yes, because that would still give, the free-to-play players, because I'm running only 2 copies of Vampire Grace right now, so you throw that on the limited list instead of Samurai Skull. You eliminate your enemy controllers, so then you're going to have more of the Vampire Desire, along with maybe another Vampire Domain, maybe another Vampire Takeover. You might want to actually throw in a 3rd copy of these, maybe, but that would mean another reset on the box. So there's plenty of opportunities still with this deck to make it still viable, but with the limited list, these being limited to 2, it basically means that you are taking out the enemy controller, and Gozuki is now becoming a required card for the Vampire deck. So that's my thoughts on this Vampire deck. I'm sorry I didn't get this out sooner. After the limited, the ban list is in place, I will try and make another Vampire video, just because I do think Vampires are a lot of fun to play. So until then, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button for more Duel Links content. Until then, keep on keeping on, keep on dueling, and hit that comment button if you feel like you need to say something to me.